morning. My name is Abuna Mante. Heading straight into our front story for today, we are looking at the alleged distribution of expired rice to students under the free SHS program. And we are focusing on this issue because it has sparked outrage and concerns across the country. Some over 22,000 bags of purportedly expired and repackaged rice have reportedly been distributed to senior high schools. Member of Parliament for North Tong constituency, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, accused the National Food Buffer Stock Company of conspiring with a private company, Laments Investment Africa Limited, to repackage expired rice branded as Mushosho rice imported from India. According to Honorable Ablakwa, the rice expired in December of 2023 but was rebagged at a facility in Kumasi and distributed to schools. Let's take a look at what Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa made, the bold claims he made about these expired rice. Let's take a look at them. He says that in his investigation, it revealed that the National Food Buffer Stock Company and Laments Company, Laments Africa Investment Limited, allegedly repacked some expired Mushosho rice, the rice from India, but the rice was repacked in a facility at the Ashanti region. He says that that was the best before date, so the BB date was December 2023. They then conspired with the Buffer Stock Company to use their premises for rebagging, so they obtained different bags from their premises for the rebagging, and with the encryption ECOWAS made in Ghana rice without any expiry date, and transferred the expired rice into bags. But fortunately, there was a tip-off to the Ashanti Regional Police Commander and the FDA. He also says that they moved in, the Ashanti Regional Commander and the FDA moved in and sought to prevent the whole criminal conduct from continuing, so the police closed down the place. And Honorable Ablakwa says that he intercepted letters that the Ashanti Regional Police wrote to the Food and Drugs Authority asking that the samples that they had retrieved from the enterprise, which he says was a criminal enterprise, be tested. He says that the FDA confirmed that the rice was heavily contaminated, 1, insect infested, 2, and unfit for both human and animal consumption. These are the 3 things that the FDA confirmed after they tested the rice. Heavily contaminated, very unfit for human consumption, and the Laments Company were fined some 100,000 Ghana cedis. They were fined 100,000 Ghana cedis. Honorable Ablakwa is demanding for the arrest of Laments directors and accountability from all institutions involved in this very troubling act. And he said that these allegations raise serious concerns about food safety, regulatory oversight, and accountability. How could expired rice make its way onto dining tables in our second cycle institutions? And what are the potential health risks for students who may have already consumed it? The Ministry of Education responded to this issue through their spokesperson, Kwesi Kwarteng. The Ministry of Education said that while they acknowledge and they appreciate Honorable Ablakwa for raising the issue and assured that there would be a thorough investigation, they said that on actions taken, they were collaborating with the National Food Buffer Stock Company and the Ghana Commodity Exchange to investigate this issue that had been brought to bear. And they said that they were committed to safety by assurance that was given to students. They assured students, their parents, and the public about the ministry's commitment to the students' safety, and have pledged transparency and updates on the investigations progress. So this was the ministry's response after Honorable Okudzeto-Ablakwa brought out this claims, after he uncovered this issue for Ghanaians to know this alleged distribution of expired rice to students. In 2023, it is acknowledged in what he says that the rice had reached its best before stage. There's a best before and then there's expired stage. So the rice was at a best before stage until they decided, the Lament company decided to repackage this rice and give it to the second cycle institutions, packaging it in the Ashanti region. But for a tip-off, we would not have heard of this issue. We'll have conversations on this. We're looking at having conversations with Kwesi Kwarteng himself, the PRO for the Ministry of Education. We'll have a conversation with someone from the health sector to also ascertain what this means for our students to be served this kind of unwholesome food, so that we can bring some clarity to this issue. And we'll also speak with the National Food Suppliers Association to have more on this issue. But this is the issue that has been brought to bear, allegedly the distribution of expired rice to students under their free SHS program. Some of the questions that have been raised about this is that why should these students, these young ones, be subjected to such grievous actions to give expired food to them? Who didn't do the due diligence? Whose work was it to handle the quality assurance of the food that goes to our senior high schools? So much so that they did not do their work for this rice to get there. Let's find out if indeed that was the issue. If indeed expired rice reached the second cycle institutions, and when the expired rice reached the various institutions, if indeed they did reach, did nobody find out that, did it not come to anybody's attention that this rice we're about to cook for our students was expired? Videos going around indicate that some of the bags of rice were moldy. It meant that they had grown mold, and for those who know, mold is not something that you should play with at all. So we'll have conversations on this so that we can better understand the issue. Has it been an overreach, or it is as it has been reported? If it is as it has been reported, what is the ministry doing beyond the statement they released for the students and their parents to make sure that parents and students are like at peace or are calm about the issue happening? We'll also have conversations with a health person, obviously, to understand what it also means to the health of the students that this happens. But it shouldn't be the case, regardless of it, it shouldn't be the case that someone can, in their own facility, without any supervision, repackage or package any food for the consumption of consumers. Very worrying that this should happen, especially to our second cycle students. Look at the number of second cycle institutions we have in Ghana, especially because of the free SHS, the number of students who are benefiting from this issue. Some parents have said that they would not have been able to send their wards to second cycle institutions but for this policy. The fact that it was taking care of board and also tuition eased the burden on them, so they only had to provide some provisions for their children. So if they had all the hopes that their wards will be given meals to eat in school, parents shouldn't be receiving this kind of news at home that their wards were being served some expired food. These are some of the worries that come up, and some of the concerns that are raised after some of these issues come to bear. The FDA conducted its investigations, fined Lament some 100,000 Ghana cedis. Was it even enough? This fine, was this fine enough? Is that enough deterrent to them that they pay this money? And what are the necessary repercussions of this actions by lament? Are they going to face the full rigors of the law, or are Ghanaians going to say that this is Ghana again? Someone does something which is wrong, which potentially harms Ghanaians, and we let them go. So I want to see how far this issue goes. Will we see? Will there be some justice in the issue? Why should somebody be so confident to do what they did? Let's speak with Dr. Shiraz Ishahaku. He's a senior medical physicist and president of the Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professionals. Good morning, Dr. Shiraz. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, madam, and thank you for having me.
Dr. Shiraz, with this issue out for all of us to talk about and deliberate upon, what are the potential health risks of consuming expired food or food beyond the best before date?
Yes, thank you once again. There are several challenges I have with this kind of. The first one. Oh.
Hello, Dr. Shiraz.
Am I still?
Yes, please, you are still here.
Did you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes. So I said that. Okay, great. So I said there are two main problems I have with this situation. The first one is that the short-term effect on the children, which I believe by now would have been felt, we need to quickly take care of it. And then the second part, which is what my concerns are, is that there's the likelihood that there will be a long-term effect on the children. What it means is that anybody who is exposed to eating contaminated food, especially foods that has to do with cereals like rice and corn, will likely to have a very long-term effect. And in fact, what it means is that you are likely to develop chronic illness, and that might end up destroying most of your internal organs, including your kidney, liver, and the intestines. And in fact, all those who consume this, we quickly have to be checked, quickly have to report to the nearest hospital for samples to be taken, and then based on the report of the samples, we can then advise them on what to do next.
Dr. Shiraz, how does the nutritional value of food change after a best by stage? We understand that when there's a best before stage and it exceeds a little time, it doesn't mean that the food has fully gone bad. It means that some nutritional value may have been lost, or maybe the freshness of the food may have been lost to a certain extent. So some are able to still consume that. But let's look at expiration date. What does it mean when food has reached that expiration date? And what does it mean for the nutritional value of that food?
Right.
Hello, Dr. Ishahaku.
FDA will ask that. Yes, I can hear you.
Dr. Ishahaku.
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sir, did you hear my question?
Yes, I heard it.
Okay, sir.
I heard it. So I will respond. I'm saying that there's a reason why you have to indicate on your food product the expiring date for that food. After the expiring date, there's a high likelihood that there will be weevils as found in this particular case, which will end up producing toxins. And you are exposed to it for a long time. In other words, when you eat it for some time, you are likely to develop that will be chronic in nature, because they are going to produce chemicals that will react with your internal organs, and those chemicals will lead to a long-term effect that can even result in things that maybe for now I don't want to scare people, but it has a very long-term effect on anybody who consumes expired food, especially food in the nature of cereals and the alike.
Okay. What measures should the schools take to ensure that meals provided to students meet the nutritional safety requirements and the safety standards that all all round we should be adhering to?
So obviously, anything that gets into our system, like
Dr. Shaku.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it seems your camera is off. Would like to see you while you give your submission. So kindly turn on your Zoom camera for us. Thank you, sir.
On, yes. So what I was saying was that anything that gets in.
Hello, Dr. Shaku.
Unfortunately, most of this. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please go on, sir.
I'm saying that anything that gets into your system, your body should be able to get rid of this, anything that you eat into the body. And for
Dr. Shaku, we seem to be losing you at certain intervals. Please reposition yourself so we can hear you and have the conversation with you. We're speaking with Dr. Shiraz Ishahaku. He is a senior medical physicist and the president of the Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professionals. When we establish contact with him, we'll continue this conversation on the alleged distribution of expired rice to students under the free SHS program. This is a revelation that was brought on by the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Okujetua Blakwa, who says that a company called Lamens repacked expired rice for our brothers, our sisters, our children, our friends in the second cycle institutions. Very unfortunate revelation. Beyond that, the FDA launched an investigation into the issue and also fined the company Lamens Company Limited about what had happened. The Ministry of Food, the Ministry of Education, through its PRO, has come to respond to these allegations and has also said that the ministry is committed to making sure that this issue finds rest. Let's continue our conversation with Dr. Shiraz Ishahaku. Doc, thank you and welcome back.
Yeah, thank you so much. As I was saying, I don't know where you lost me. Well, as I was saying, anything that gets into your system that needs to get rid of it by the system itself, it's extremely important that we ensure that we don't put in foods that it will be very difficult for our system to get rid of. So before foods are saved, especially at the younger ones, it needs to properly be examined. What did my imagination as to how anybody can repackage expired wood, especially expired wood weevils, and still have the confidence to go and distribute these foods to the younger ones is what everybody here will have to ensure that we get justice for the children. And in doing so, we definitely need to use all the legal means to ensure that the Minister of Education will ensure that all foods that are safe to the younger ones are properly examined and then before they are given out to the various schools.
Dr. Jack, when we speak about all those involved being brought to book, the Ministry of Education mentioned that the Food and Drugs Authority, they claim that the Food and Drugs Authority certified the rice as wholesome. It is for this reason that I asked my earlier question, that we understand that when food has reached its best before stage, to some extent, some are able to still consume the food because it may have lost maybe the freshness but has not reached the expiry date yet. But when it reaches expiry date, it has met its expiration date. Expiration virtually means a dead date. How then is a company able to conveniently and confidently repackage something like that and take it to the schools? And the question also that arises from there is, who was in charge of also making sure that the rice was wholesome? Because obviously you would pour out rice to wash before you cook it. So some of these questions are the questions we're asking. Who should be ensuring the safety of the students? Who should be ensuring that the students' nutritional needs are met and met adequately?
To be the responsibilities of the school authorities. But before foods are sent out, obviously you will know that the expiring date is left with maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and therefore it may not be prudent for you to send it there because they cannot consume it within that period. So both the school authority and the Ministry of Education that send out the food to the school authority should be responsible for this.
Well, Dr. Shaku, from a nutritionist perspective, how can parents and teachers work together to identify signs of food-related health issues in students or in their wards?
Yeah, so obviously, I would encourage the school authorities not to accept foods that are about to expire, and then ensure that whatever food that's brought to them has enough expiring date ahead of them, so that they can keep it and use it at the right appropriate nutritional with appropriate nutritional value. But if for any reason foods are brought for them to use and it does not meet this criteria, they should quickly report to the ministry and to ensure that they don't cook those foods for the younger ones.
Right, Dr. Shaku, we are grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Dr. Shirazi Shahaku is a senior medical physicist and the president of the Ghana Federation of Allied Health Professionals. This conversation on the alleged distribution of expired rice to students under the free SHS, an allegation that Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa raised, and the Ministry of Education has responded to some of these issues. The ministry launched an investigation into the allegations. Some 22,000 bags of rice, very huge numbers, 22,000 bags of expired rice, which were repackaged and supplied to the various second cycle institutions. The question that it raises is that was it an issue of not caring at all about the health of the student? That is why someone would sit and repackage expired food for young persons. Students in second cycle institutions are teenagers who are growing up, and for someone to repackage such expired food to send to them, that is disheartening. That is wicked to do. Would you deliberately do that? It's quite disheartening. It's a disheartening issue that has raised a lot of concerns. That is why we want to speak with the Ministry of Education to also understand their point of view, delve into the issue deep and see what would also some of the measures that will be taken, because obviously someone would have to be held responsible for the issue, for this that has happened. Joining us is Kweku Amedume. He is the spokesperson for the National Food Suppliers Association. Let's have a conversation with him. Good morning, Kweku. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
As an association, were you aware of this alleged distribution of expired rice, or did it just come to your attention after the Honorable Member of Parliament raised the issue up?
Good morning to your viewers. Let me first of all correct the impression that as an association, did we just were we aware of the poisoning of the rice?
No, not were you aware of the poisoning of the rice. Were you aware of the alleged distribution of the expired rice? Did it come to your notice, or did it also just come to your notice after Honorable Ablakwa raised the issue?
Exactly. So what I want to put out on your radio station is that a TV station is that Lament's Investment is not a member of our association. In fact, he is not a registered member of our association. He is just an individual company that is also engaged in its own operations. The fact that Laments engages buffer stock in doing business does not make him a member of the National Food Suppliers Association. National Food Suppliers Association, we also do the same thing, but we as members, we have registered members, people that we recognize as our members. And our duty is to educate those members on the weight, the quality, and ensure that it is delivered according to the standard and the specifications of what we are asked to do. And so we cannot be seen or be found in the situation that Lamens Investment has found its own situation. And let me also reiterate the point that, you see, you cannot take away the complicity of the education ministry or the Free SHS Secretariat and buffer stock. They are more palpable in this case because, in fact, before a food is delivered at the center, there are 3 sets of people who inspect and check the quality of the food before it is delivered. The bearer is responsible, the storekeeper is responsible, and the bearer, the headmaster, and the storekeeper. The 3 people are the only people who would have to inspect and ensure that you have brought the right quality of food before they sign your invoices for you to go for your money. So if those rice were able to go through the delivery system and were wholly accepted and given accounts of the investigations by the Honorable Minister, if those accounts are anything to go by, it means that food supplier is only one person, but there are several other people who also contributed to the mess and the poison the kids are taking in the school. Let's point it to them. Let's make it known to them that it is their responsibility, not only the responsibility of the supplier, it is also their responsibility to ensure that the supplier brings a wholesome food. And that is why they are seated and designated at a point to be receiving and taking inventory and signing invoices of the suppliers who come to deliver the foodstuffs. So you cannot just be looking at a supplier in this case without looking at the people who are supposed to also ensure that the supplier brings a good food.
Okay. Kweku, have you ever had instances like this where food goes beyond its best before date and you go to the FDA for reapproval?
Of course, there are instances. For instance, if you look at the story of this particular Lamens, I think the import was done somewhere in 2021, and has been in the warehouse for almost 3 years or so, by which time there was an expiry date that caught up with the rice. But the point here is, if the food is expired, it's expired. You understand? If it's expired, it means it's not wholesome for consumption anymore. But you cannot take away the fact that food will always expire. And that's why those dates are indicated on them. So it happens to every importer of food items. Even those that we do on our own, on our farmlands here. If you don't have a better preservation for it, they get deteriorated and you have to bear the cost for it. And so it is a normal cost in every importer's business, especially for those who engage in vegetables of that sort.
Okay. What are some of the quality control measures that your association recommends for food suppliers?
Let me start by saying that, in fact, there are different sources of our supply. There are some who take it from the farmers directly. There are some who do imports. There are some who buy from our local market. So the case where you are doing imports, it means that you have to have a certification. You need a certification from Food and Drugs Authority to show that your food is wholesome before you can get them into the market. And then apart from you ensuring that your food is wholesome, when the food gets to its delivery centers, it is also incumbent on the bearer, the storekeeper, and the headmaster who are taking delivery of those foods to ensure that the expiry date on the food is still consumable. But if those responsibilities are neglected too, we are likely to face situations like this, especially so if we meet a greedy supplier, a greedy and a greedy supplier or a criminal-minded supplier who would want to corrupt, the system. And so, if you are looking at solutions, you must also be looking at all these areas, because the burden cannot only be on the supplier, that a supplier must bring a wholesome food. No, the burden is on all of us, and you, the media houses, having time to discuss it. The burden is on all of us to ensure that the kids in the schools eat good food. It is our responsibility.
With the issue of these foods, what would cause someone to brazenly repackage expired food and send to our second cycle institutions? Is it that there's a gap in our system that allows for these issues to go under the carpet, to be swept under the carpet?
Yes, there are lots of loopholes in the system, especially so our state actors, our those who are managing affairs of our policies, they themselves are corrupt. Because, my sister, if you are not corrupt, you won't allow, as a state agency or state institution, to use your premises to commit this kind of murder. Because I call it murder because these are poisonous food that we are feeding innocent Ghanaian children. So it is only a corrupt government official who will watch and condone such criminal-minded supplier, because of the small money they will make into their pocket. They want to jeopardize the life of our people. And they have done so with impunity. As I speak with you, we can only sit here and rant, but nothing will happen to all those who are involved. It's so glaring that at the time FDA realized what was going on, there were unseen hands around the case trying to water it down. And they will come with a flimsy excuse that the kids needed food and there was shortage of food, for which reason they had to do what they did. But must you kill the kids just because of expediency or policy? It's so sad. It's so sad. So if there's any loophole, the loophole are the human beings managing the state institutions. They are the very loopholes that we have, because if we put in all these measures, the FDA is there to check. The Free SHS Secretariat is also there to check. There's no way we can have a case of poisonous or expired rice being distributed to our people. Okay. No, it will never happen.
Thank you, Kweku. We are grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Kweku Amedume is the spokesperson for the National Food Suppliers Association on this conversation about the repackaging of expired food. Let's stay informed on this issue about expired foods and our safety. Food safety is everyone's responsibility, and as we head into the festive season, let us make sure, it's a must, that our kitchens are stocked with food that is not just delicious but safe for the consumption of our families. Let us really take this into consideration. The food you buy, make sure it is safe. If you are packaging any hamper for anybody, please make sure it is safe. That is all for Front Story this morning on ABC in the morning. Up next, sports and Tech Trick. Derek Kumiki-Siedu is on hand to give us the latest in sports, and Eric Melo-Trinebois will after bring us some Tech Trick. Stay with us.
This is where the headlines are probed. Policies scrutinized through an objective lens with an unbiased approach to every discussion. Key in to a series of pulsating conversations with the hard questions.
Why do you still want to run when you have failed?
I haven't. What do you mean by failed?
In-depth analysis of policy proposals.
If it's a temporary program, why do we want to still create another gold reserve exchange program also to address a temporary issue?
If you introduce a temporary measure and you realize that the temporary measure works and is sustainable, you have to rethink whether or not it should just be temporary.
And every agenda and positions intellectually debated to set the record straight.
Look, you still don't answer the question now.
Good.
Question is, if Article 78(1) is anything to go by, your ministers of state largely are supposed to come from the parliament.
Yes.
The law says that not less than 10 and not more than 19. So these are your cabinet, your ministers of state you're going to get. How do you intend to? Have you thought about managing that hurdle?
Absolutely. If I hadn't, I probably would not get on the fray to do this.
On Focus on ABC, we focus on the matter, the personality, and the answer beyond the rhetoric. Focus on ABC shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. only on ABC News Ghana television.
That's so good.
Hello there, good morning and welcome to the sports segment here on ABC in the morning. I am Derek Kumiki Siedu here at ABC News Ghana. We are your election poll center, your credible election guide. Hashtag vote not violence. Let's do some sports now. Now, Jordan Ayew, Gideon Mensah, Alidu Seidu and Abdel Fattah Issahaku have been ruled out of the forthcoming African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Niger due to injuries. Alidu Seidu and Gideon Mensah, who had to pass late fitness tests for the Angola game, have been ruled out after further post-game medical assessment revealed findings that they make them unfit for selection. Jordan Ayew and Abdel Fattah Issahaku sustained injuries during the Angola match. Although Ayew completed the game, MRI scans in Accra revealed significant issues with his knee. Issahaku was substituted in the first half due to his injury following consultation between Black Stars medical head Dr. Prince Pambo and Leicester City medical team. Ayew and Issahaku will rejoin their club on Sunday to begin rehabilitation. SC right back Kamaradini Mahmoud, Heart of Lions defender Ebenezer Aban and Tot FC Jerry Efie have been called up for today's African Cup of the Nations qualifier against Niger. The three players are expected to strengthen their squad following the unavailability of Ali Duseidu, Gideon Mensah, Abdel Fattah Issahaku and Captain Jordan Ayew. Here are some stats about the new call-ups. Now, Kamaradini Mahmoud has played 9 Ghana Premier League games, 810 minutes, scored 2 goals, and won Man of the Match award. Ebenezer Aban has made 11 appearances, 975 minutes in the ongoing Ghana Premier League campaign. Now, Jerry Efie, gold medalist at the 2024 African Games and crowned best player and top scorer of the WAFU Zone B Under-20 Cup of Nations in Togo. Ghana is looking to end the qualifiers on a high note, having secured only 3 points from 5 qualifying games. The game against Nigeria is scheduled for 4 p.m. kickoff at the Accra Sports Stadium today, November 18, 2024. That's it for the sports segment here on ABC in the morning. For more sports updates, please follow our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. I am Derek Kumi Kisiedu.
'Only Bawumia can be trusted to protect and improve the free senior high school program.' I want to take you on a trip down memory lane. In 2008, candidate Akufo-Addo promised that he was going to introduce education reforms, including the free senior high school program, if he was elected as president. From that election till about 2016, the NDC is consistently opposed the free senior high school.
The government has budgeted 2 billion cedis for free SHS for this academic year. If you have 2 billion more to spend on education, will you spend all of it on free SHS?
That Ghana must not introduce free SHS on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician.
Sometimes they say it's just politics. But the big picture is that consistently they've been against it. In fact, in election 2012 and 2016, they sponsored several adverts trying to convince the people of Ghana, say free SHS no. Any
5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot. Over 5 million children have benefited from
budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kanisi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kanisi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kaneshie.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Yes, welcome to the Tech Trade segment here on ABC in the morning. I am Eric Mello, and it's time to share with you some tech tips here on ABC in the morning. So I'm actually going to be very quick because the show is packed, and we're also talking about something relatable but also very important to you as a Ghanaian. So do you know what to do when you accidentally find someone's national identity card? It could be the national ID card like the Ghana card or any other card, but today we're focusing on the Ghana card. Well, I'm here to also assist you, so you can also assist someone to also find his or her Ghana card. So in this busy country, as you know, it's easy to lose an essential identification card, especially as a Ghana card will also be used for everything very soon. Now, losing your Ghana card can be a big loss to you as a Ghanaian. So join me, let's get into it quite very quickly. So the first steps you have to follow, if you have your phone with me, kindly follow the process. Okay, so you have your phone. The first thing you have to do is to dial this short code, that is *402#. The first step you have to do is to dial this code *4027. Then it will give you an option. Then you'll see first option to select is check number. Okay, so when you dial *02#, the first option or a pop-up will show. Then you select check number. Then you actually enter the Ghana card you see. So whatever number you see or digit you see on the card of the person, you just enter the number of it. Then you enter the date of birth on the card. So if it's a missing card you found on the floor, you just type the number. Then again you follow with the Ghana at the date of birth. So this will give you the phone's number of the person, of the owner. Then you can contact the person and hand the card to him or her. Or you can also choose this option, which is you can also report to the National Identification Authority as easy as you can, or the police, and you will be taken through the process, which requires that you depose an affidavit to certify the veracity of the loss or theft or damage, and it will also be a good thing to you. So it is therefore advisable for holders to also protect and secure their cards. So today we're actually telling you that whichever method that you use, don't forget to be a helpful brother or a sister to someone anytime you find their Ghana card somewhere. You don't also know, maybe if you find someone's Ghana card and you bypass because you don't really know exactly what to use it for, you also leave it behind. But I'm hoping that with these tips that we have shared with you, you will remember someone, and of course someone would also remember you. So as I said, it's very quick because the show is packed. Catch us next time for an insightful tech tip. I'm Eric Mello, and ABC in the Morning continues shortly after this.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia #1 on the ballot.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kaneshie
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
2 to 1.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
To ABC in the morning, live on ABC News GH with me, Abna Mante. Up next is Ghana Speaks.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not? This is Ghana Speaks.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations.
Nearby. Jenny, you're going in, no pressure. And your mate, a driver. You're going in, no pressure. And your mate, a driver. No pressure. And your mate, a driver. You're going in, no pressure. And your mate,
what does Yacha? You hear you for Ghana for your bra, Nana Kwame bra, Osachi for bra, Bema Kuku Drufwe. You hear you for the Sophia on roll, the bank for and the for Bediako, you two Nutawachi, and Nanuchi Woody, a Janu Tayachi.
At long last, Ghana, your beloved country is free forever.
Welcome back here on Ghana Speaks. We're playing some of these songs for you so that you will tell us what campaign song in the lead up to the 2024 elections has impressed you as a voter. This year, 2024, have we even seen campaign songs as strong as the previous elections? Get in touch with us, 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609, and tell us which campaign song in the lead up to the elections has impressed you so far as a voter, from the voters' point of view. Which song has shaken you? Which song do you hear and immediately jump onto your feet and want to dance? And in any case, is the song going to determine who you vote for with 18 days to the election? So call us 053-916-1609 and let's have a conversation on campaign songs. This year, have we seen as many campaign songs as we did the previous elections? Have they been as effective as the previous election campaign songs have been? Talk to us. We will be glad to hear from you. 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Atiata Musenya. I'm calling from Kumasi.
Okay, what campaign song has impressed you so far?
Okay,
Cheddar song, Stone Boy.
Okay. Stone Boy. Yes.
Okay, who did he sing it for?
Hello.
Who did Stone Boy sing the song for? Who did he compose it for? We have lost him, but he says JJJ is the campaign song that has impressed him so far. Is JJJ a campaign song? Has any of the political parties adopted this as their song? Well, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Obed, calling from Aguda Memphis.
Obed, which campaign song has impressed you so far? Okay, Obed, thank you for calling. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. You should hear my production crew. They also burst into laughter like that. Call us on 053-916-1609. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. My name is Kaku from Takwade.
Kapu or Kaku?
Kaku, K-A-K-U, Kaku.
Okay, Kaku, which campaign song has impressed you so far?
Mostly the most impressive campaign song is No Pressure.
No Pressure, fact, okay.
The song has actually touched my heart from nowhere.
Hey, okay.
And I can't stop listening to this song every day, every night, day in, day out.
All right, No Pressure, okay. All right, thank you. So I hope your day is a pressure-free day, Kaku. Thank you for calling. There's no pressure. So are you going to vote based on the no pressure you have been listening to?
Actually, not based on the song that I've been listening to, but actually voting based on policies that both of them have put in place. So after the survey, like I've weighed them to see which one is more convenience and more, let's say, is advocacy to the
all right.
youth.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm based on that I want to vote.
Okay. Kaku, thank you for calling. All right. So you too can call us 053-916-1609. Tell us which campaign song has impressed you so far. Someone says, another says, no pressure. Let's hear from you. You can call us 053-916-1609. Let's hear you speak on Ghana Speaks. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Rasu from Cape Coast.
Your name is?
Rasu from Cape Coast.
Ras.
Yeah.
Okay. Ras, which campaign song has impressed you so far?
Actually, Samini.
Samini. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So you've been enjoying it, eh?
Okay, yes, of course.
No pressure.
No pressure.
All right. Thank you, Ras. Ras says no pressure. He can't be pressured at all. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Please, I'm calling. My name is Ransford, and I'm calling from.
Hello, Ransford.
My name is. Yes, please.
Ransford, which campaign song has impressed you so far?
No pressure.
No pressure. Okay. All right. Samini's no pressure has impressed you. Thank you for calling. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Please turn down the volume of your TV set so we can hear you.
Please, pressure.
Okay. When you call us, it will be great if you turn down the volume of your TV so that we can hear you and you can also hear us. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? We are taking our last two calls and we'll be done with this conversation this morning on Ghana Speaks. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, I'm coming from Kwame Danso this year.
Kwame Danso. Okay, what's your name?
My name is John Tutui.
John, which campaign song has impressed you so far?
Mama Break the 8.
Mama Break the 8.
Yeah.
Okay, who composed it?
Mama Break the 8.
Mama Break the 8.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, John. Grateful for your time this morning. Hello, your name and where you're calling from. Let's pick our next caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, my name is Colin Dukosimo and I'm calling from North Bimbra.
Okay. What song?
Yeah, my name is Colin Dukosimo and I'm calling from North Bimbra.
Colin, what song has impressed you as a voter? Hello?
Yeah, it's only this, yes.
Okay, we seem not to establish good contact with Kolindu, but that's the conversation today. Which campaign song in the lead up to the elections has impressed you? Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
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 Yes.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mo.
Okay, what campaign song has impressed you the most?
Pressure.
Pressure.
Yes.
Okay, by Samini.
Pressure.
Okay, thank you for calling. He also says that No Pressure has impressed him in the lead up to the elections. So now I think we'll be seeing the songs that will be reigning after the declaration of results, after 7th December. But let's end with the songs. Listen to the songs and also determine for yourself which of the songs have impressed you as a voter. Various songs in the on the airwaves, but these are the 2 songs that we've received responses for. Let's listen to them. So you are welcome back. So those are the two campaign songs that when we open the phone lines, you gave us your opinion about. The one from Nasik Pro, as you guys say, and then No Pressure by Samini. That's all for Business Fix today. That's all for Ghana Speaks today on ABC in the morning. Up next is Business Fix. Business Fix, we are throwing some focus and light on the Trades Advocacy Group Ghana. We had a conversation with them and they said that COVID-19 significantly impacted Ghana's businesses. If you're expecting any full recovery, we should be projecting 2028. Let's go and take that conversation with Trades Advocacy Group Ghana.
Advertise your brand or business on ABC News GH Television. Call us on 030-278-8645 or 050-993-0360 to secure your slot.
Welcome back. We deeply apologize for that technical hitch. We will bring you the Business Fix conversation in our subsequent production. Rest assured of that. But let's move into our main discussion for today. And today's topic, we are looking at what can be achieved if Parliament reconvenes, looking at the fact that we have only 18 days to the elections. With barely 18 days to the 2024 general elections, it is yet unclear if Parliament will be summoned named after the final judgment on the vacant seats controversy by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on Tuesday, November 12, provided a detailed explanation for its decision to uphold the suits brought by Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin. Apex Court of the Land, the Member of Parliament is deemed to have vacated their seat if they change their political affiliation and continue to serve in Parliament under a new party identity. This ruling supports the suit filed by the Majority Leader, clarifying that the relevant constitutional provisions apply only within the current term of Parliament. The court specified that Articles 97, Clause 1, Subclause G and H, Subclauses G and H of the Constitution do not extend to future parliamentary terms, such as when an MP runs for election under a different political party in subsequent elections. The Supreme Court emphasized that an MP's seat must be vacated if they switch parties while holding office within the same parliamentary term. In other words, changing political affiliation during a parliamentary term while remaining in Parliament will lead to the loss of their seat. The judgment also addresses the situation for independent MPs, making it clear that if an independent MP joins a political party while serving their current term, they must vacate their seat. However, there are concerns on what can be realistically achieved in this limited time span should Parliament be recalled, and its implication on the governance of the country as key government business continues to stall in Parliament. Let's look at some of the pending government businesses before Parliament at the moment. These are some of the key government businesses. There are bills, and then there are urgent matters tabled. On the urgent matters tabled, motion on the financing agreement between the government of Ghana and the International Development Association for an amount of $250 million for the Ghana Energy Sector Recovery Program. Another is the request for tax exemptions for the designated beneficiaries under the One District, One Factory program. Also, the Ghana Financial Stability Fund and International Development Association facility of $250 million. These are also some of the pending bills before government, tabled by the majority before Parliament. The 2023 budget bill, the budget bill 2023, the rent bill 2023, the University of Local Governance and Development bill 2024, environmental protection bill 2024, social protection bill 2024, interstate succession bill 2022, Chartered Institute of Reconstruction and Insolvency Practitioners Bill 2023, the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2024, and the National Petroleum Authority Bill 2024. Meanwhile, the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, made a call to the NDC MPs to boycott Parliament and listen to any emergency and not listen to any emergency recall of the House. Let's listen to when he made this call to DC MPs.
No NDC MP by Kopra, NC or Parliament. I do my Parliament to what? Wait, my cousin, emergency beyond you. Your Parliament, now I'm going to continue dream dear. One more dear, and dear what you know, and me one more. Now, you men say I can. One person, one more trash. Now, I'm going to dream. Now, my woman, and my woman. I don't see. The four-pair, woman can be a woman. Parliament is so that the Parliament is now, and the very to our Parliament. Yakasa democracy, a better than so. We Parliament is free, as democracy behind the media.
Anything or maybe Moniji Camino Cabia Momo. As a family, I'm sorry, never buy the parliament to home by. The parliament, who we keep parliament here, that's what I said, democracy, no higher attention. Young Tracy, Yadia and I pay anti parliament, yes, you are. Anti democracy, yes, you are. Young Tracy, my back for a mean for me, I'm not trying to say, or the young Yama, I say democracy. And she now, and she chair. I don't think the answers of parliament here. One more year, control cranny, judge for say, my design. A Juma of parliament, my quatrain, a buy no beguniaga, a buy beer move choco. They say, NDC MP for no, or PIA emergency recall, and more PIC. Amai no emu, democracy no, and a economy. Na yaka kotuaba, yatuaba wia. Mama Ghana franchise say, "Woman need democracy ho." The leaders say, "All parliament mingra." Yatuaba na omusanga, na NDC so. Yamma MPC dodo, amaka ho. Yentime kwenye democracy, yeyira. Constitution no, yako kwachire no. One more, now we are lawyer for Ghana Bar Association. So we can say, I'm in a quarter for any hairdressers, intimate transit, and your constitution. And now, you're not quarter for me a picture for any hairdressers. Your constitution, more that as a Muslim Yasi. Now, you're actually the Yasi, I won't have a Yasi. I don't tell I'm not here for hiding. Interpreting constitution. Now, all church and said in previous. But here, Timmy Kurano, the Kuro to share, or Nimsa Bill. One more school. Buy your Bama. Uba the catcher say, we know what to me say, we interpret him. And the young flower Bassa or a Bama, nature on your road. Chief Justice in Opa, Uncle Trabak Kumaso, now only parliament, now among them now Ghana and Back. Now, NCTA, Parliament, Parliament. President, Parliament, Parliament. Only Parliament, now among them now Ghana and Back.
So that is the national chairman for the National Democratic Congress speaking to NDC MPs about not returning to Parliament. Let's take a look at the numbers the House needs to have to be able to conduct business or even sit for a meeting, especially now that the NDC has called on its MPs to boycott Parliament. Let's take a look at quorum in Parliament. What forms a quorum in Parliament? Under Article 109 of the Constitution, a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, shall be 1/3 of all members of Parliament. 1/3. At the moment, we have 275 parliamentarians. 275 parliamentarians. To have 1/3 of 275, it would mean that they would need 91.6, effectively 92 parliamentarians to be in the House to form a quorum. So a quorum is formed on 1/3 of all members of Parliament. So if the Speaker is the one presiding, they would need 1/3 of the number. If it is a Deputy Speaker presiding, they would need a 1/3 of the number, excluding the Deputy Speaker who is presiding. And that is what under Article 102 of the Constitution, a quorum shall be formed. Also, per the Parliament Standing Order 64, a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, is 1/3 of all the members of Parliament, like has been stated in Article 102. Again, where the person presiding is a deputy speaker or a member, that person shall be counted as part of the quorum. That person shall be counted as part of the quorum. That person will be seen as part of that 1/3 of the total number of those in the House. 3, a member may draw the attention of the person presiding at any time during a sitting that members present in the House constitutes less than 1/3 of the number of all members of Parliament. So if we have less than 1/3, any MP at the moment can raise it up that we do not form a quorum in the House at the present time. Also, the person presiding shall direct the clerks at the table to cause the bell to be rung, wait for an interval of 10 minutes, and if there is still no quorum, suspend the sitting of the House for a period not exceeding 1 hour. So if they do not have that 1/3, the clerks at the table will cause a bell to be rung, and then after that they would wait for an interval of 10 minutes. If after that 10 minutes no quorum has been achieved, sitting will be suspended for 1 hour, a period not exceeding 1 hour. If upon resumption of the sitting there is still no quorum, the House shall stand adjourned till the next sitting day without question being put. If upon resumption of the sitting there is still no quorum, the House shall stand adjourned till the next sitting day without questions being put. You remember the day the Speaker suspended Parliament indefinitely, the first time he did. They actually had a quorum because the NDC MPs were in Parliament. They made up over the 1/3 of the number in Parliament that day. So they made up a quorum that day. Let's continue. They made a quorum that day. Now we'll look at a quorum that makes a decision. You remember that after a speaker mentioned that although they form a number that can sit in Parliament, however, they did not form the number that could take any decision in Parliament, and it was on that they suspended it. In subsequent conversations, we'll also bring you more insight into what it takes to be able to conduct government business or parliamentary business when you sit in Parliament. Let's have some conversations about what can be achieved if Parliament reconvenes 18 days to the elections. Let's speak with Clement Akolo. He is a communications officer at Parliamentary Network Africa. Good morning, Clement. Thank you for your time this morning.
Good morning, my sister.
At this moment, what real work can... Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning. It's great to speak with you again on ABC in the morning.
Thank you for having me.
At this moment, what real work can Parliament really do should the House be reconvened?
All right, thank you very much. As we speak, it appears that a lot of the things that Parliament will do will become very, 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 very small and very minimal because the time is not very favorable for extensive work in Parliament. And even if they are able to sit, they will not even have the presence of mind to do proper scrutiny of the work that will be done on the floor of Parliament. So at this moment, it is just the most important things, the things that we cannot do without, that would have to find space in Parliament, like the the vote on account, that is the 3-month budget that we will need for next year, should any government come into office. That will be the most important work or the most important business that would have to be transacted on the floor of Parliament should they actually resume sitting. And when you were going through the articles that would have to form a quorum, I was expecting that you add the quorum for taking decision. I think you did the quorum for business, but there's a quorum for decision making. And I think that if you add that one to it, it will make the whole conversation a bit complete for us. So that if they are able to get a quorum for sitting, so what will be the quorum for decision making? So would they just have to sit without taking decision? What will be the quorum for that as well?
Okay. Well, we'll look at that pretty quickly. But the NDC's national chairman has called on all NDC MPs to boycott Parliament. He says they should not return to Parliament if Parliament is reconvened. To what end is he saying this?
So these are some of the things that we're talking about, that the political stalemate has stepped in, and it actually stepped in right from...
Hello, Clement. Okay, we are still trying to establish contact with Clement Akolo, but like he said, at the moment, the numbers for
when
Hello,
the majority courts and all that, and they are there as political. Yeah.
Yes, we
Can you hear
missed you
me?
at some point. We missed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, so please go on.
Okay. So I was saying that in Parliament, we know that that's where politics play out, and politics actually fleshes out in Parliament. But what we are saying is that there are some points where we have to do away with the politics, because it now comes to national issues. So when it comes to the national issue, we expect that we will look at the national interest rather than the political interest. We know that, yes, the NDC feels some way about what has gone on so far, the legal issues that have gone on, and the way the office of the speakership has been treated. They feel really, really bad about it, and how the executive and the judiciary have sought to diminish the power of the legislature under this particular speaker, and they feel very, very particular about it. I think it is in their right to feel what they feel about it. But what we are saying is that at this point in time, we think that there's something there's something that is more important than just taking the political line or towing the political line. And therefore, if we want to still dwell on this particular point of not compromising on the political issues, it will mean that the national interest will also not be achieved. At a point in time, issues must get resolved.
Okay.
So we don't think that the advice that the chairman is giving to his party people right now in Parliament is the best, because what it means is that Parliament will stand not working, and some of these things that I've mentioned, the vote on account will not come to pass. And if that does not come to pass, then it means that going into next year, the next administration, it will be difficult for any government that comes to actually take care of workers and what have you. Okay. So we think that at a point in time, this political grandstanding must diminish so that the national interest will take a particular
Clement,
cause.
we are joined on the line by Michael Boedi, who is a governance expert at the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Hello, Michael. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Good morning to your viewers.
We're grateful for your time. We're speaking with Clement Akolo. He's also on the line. Clement says that at a certain point, this political grandstanding must come to a halt so that the national interest must take the center stage. Let me ask you, Michael, with barely 3 weeks to the elections and considering how this impasse in Parliament has dragged on longer than anticipated, what really can the House achieve should it reconvene?
Well, I think that there are a number of bills that are waiting parliamentary scrutiny and passage. Key amongst these bills is the appropriation bill. If you look at the Ministry of Finance's calendar, October, November was the period for which the budget would have been presented to Parliament. Engagement with Parliament for approval would have taken place. So I think that if Parliament is recalled, there are some things that they will do to serve the good people of Ghana. And I think that the earlier the Parliament is recalled, the better it would be for the development of the country. We cannot, I think what is happening or has happened must stop at some point. There is a point to which the national interest must take preeminence over every other interest. And so I think that it is about time that Parliament is recalled, irrespective of how late it is. We cannot roll back time. What has happened. But going forward, I think that they should resume to Parliament and do the work for which the states or the people of Ghana voted them to do.
The NDC chairman has called on his MPs not to return to Parliament. We know that if we are looking at the quorum to be in Parliament, if only the NPP MPs go, some one third would be achieved. But let's look at the issue about a quorum to transact or conduct business, where the Article 104 specifies that they would need at least half of the members in Parliament. Now that everything is back to how it was, the NPP has 138, the NDC has 137. Do you believe that the NPP will be able to get all 138 MPs into the House should the NDC MPs not return? Will the NPP get all 138 to be able to have that at least half to be able to transact Parliament's business?
I think that you are asking the question that is meant for the whip of the MPP. I'm not able to tell since I am not an MPP member. I'm not able to tell if they will be able to whip all their members to go to work. But I think just to find out, I'm not too sure the reason, the rationale behind the chairman of the largest opposition party encouraging its members not to go to Parliament. I don't know what the motivation is. So it's very difficult. And because maybe I didn't hear from him, I would rather not say or comment on it. The only thing I would say is that let's put the interest of the state over and above our partisan and individual interests, because ultimately it is the country that suffers. Granted that the NDC wins the election, are they going to rule the country without a budget? I mean, so if the NDC decides not to go to Parliament, I think that what they may have to reconsider, because it may just be an action likened to cutting your face and spiting your nose. Cutting your nose and spiting your face. Sorry. So I believe that at this point, Ghana needs their MPs to work. That there is nothing more. to it than that. The MPs must go to do the work they were elected to do. Simple. There is nothing to gain as a people, there's nothing to gain when this political grandstanding continues. It's not going to help anybody. It's not going to inure into anybody's advantage. I mean, it may hurt the one party today, but it's likely to hurt another tomorrow. So there is no point continuing this. I think what has happened is not good enough, and it must end at some point.
Okay, it must end at some point. Clement, let me come back to you. You mentioned that the quorum for business, we should look at it. We need half of Parliament to be seated for this work. With your work at Parliamentary Network Africa, how easy do you think the NPP will be able to get all of their members to come back to Parliament in the event that the NDC MPs don't return?
This will be very, very, very difficult. I've been in the House for a while, so I know that the whips would have to do, they have to jump over themselves to be able to raise this number from themselves, especially at this time when it's very crucial for the members of Parliament to also campaign in their constituencies to be able to retain their seats. So at this point in time, their interest is more to themselves than to, let's say, the party interest or even to the national interest. So it will be very difficult for the whips to try to whip all the members into their camp. And even now that we have divided attention for some who are going independent, who are also seeking their own interests, to be able to whip them to come and represent the party in the House. So it's going to be a very tall order for the whips to be able to do that. Even the whips themselves are also members of Parliament who are also seeking re-election. So it means that they will not have all the time to be able to do the work that they are supposed to do to draw their members to the House. And for us to have a smooth House, just like my colleague on the other side just affirmed, that it will not inure to any particular political interest. For the short time, it could be that, yes, you are taking your pound of flesh because the other party took to the courts and sought to overturn things and all that. But trying to pay back, if you don't take care, you hurt yourself. There is a popular saying in Akan that you don't follow the fly to now hurt your own wound, or in attempt to hit the fly, you hit the fly in addition to your own wound. And if this particular vote of account that we are talking about, the budget is not passed for next year, and in case the NDC wins the elections, what kind of funds are we going to use to run the country? We are not going to run the country from our own pockets, our own funds. So at a point in time, there must be a compromise.
Hello, sir. Hello, Clement.
Sometimes you reach compromises not because you don't know what your rights are, but you in the national interest. So we think that it will be a tall order for the NPP side alone to try to raise their numbers and to try to push things through. And even if that happens, it will not be good for the opposition National Democratic Congress when the NPP is the only one who is able to raise.
Hello, Clement. Okay.
The numbers in the House. It will mean that what they want to gather to bring into the
We keep missing Clement because of the issues with network. When we establish contact with him, we'll speak with him.
The way they want it. And
Clement, kindly reposition yourself better so that our conversation can be smoother. It seems some network challenges are causing your line to break often. So kindly reposition yourself so that we can have a smoother and better conversation with you. But let me come back to you, Michael Bwedi of Ghana Integrity Initiative. Sir, can Parliament afford not to sit till it rises on January 6th, especially for the government side? The government are in power at the moment side.
Well, if you say can afford, there are two things you must look at. Are the individual parliamentarians willing to sit? Are the individual parliamentarians putting their individual interests over and above the interest of the nation? Let's not forget that we will be slowly delving into an apparent conflict of interest issues, because if we put our parochial interests over and above the interest of the citizens, then we are conflicting interests here. So let's not forget that whether they can afford or they cannot afford, we should look at what is the best interest of the country. We should also look at what is lawful. It is most important to look at what is lawful and what is in the interest of the country than to look at all other interests. We don't have to continue. I think that the bottom line is that we don't have to continue on the tangent that we are pursuing currently. It's not going to help anybody. Everybody, but all well-meaning Ghanaians are alluding to the fact that this grandstanding must end. Citizens for whom who voted for the MPs are saying that we want our MPs back to Parliament to work. Well, if they choose not to, the voters will speak on the 7th of December.
Hello, Michael.
Yes, please.
Yes. You mentioned 7th December, and that was where we lost you.
No, I was saying that if they choose not to return to Parliament, it is up to them, but the voters whom they represent, their voting public will take a decision on the 7th of December.
And most of them are actively campaigning to maintain their seats. So that has taken precedence over every other thing for them at the moment. Don't you think that because they are quite certain or confident in their electorate, that is why they don't mind not coming back to Parliament? Because in any case, if they, at their campaign ground, the electorate had raised concerns about why they are not back in Parliament, maybe that would cause them to run back to Parliament to do the work that we have mandated them to do.
Well, I don't think it's confidence. I think it's complacency. And, but we are in this country, to borrow the words of the late Sir John, he says, fear delegates. Ghanaians may be quiet, they may not speak to your face about their intentions, but if they continue this way, well, and Ghanaians vote for them, that's the choice Ghanaians have made. But I believe strongly that Ghanaians will act in a way to send a signal to our members of Parliament, irrespective of which side of the aisle you belong to, that we voted you into Parliament to act, to work on our behalf. We did not vote you to work for your political party nor your personal interest. It is to work for the general good of Ghanaians.
Let me come back to you, Clement, for my last question, and then we'll be done with the conversation. This precedent that has been set by our parliamentarians, one side deciding to boycott Parliament, the other deciding when it also favors them. What does this bode for our Parliament entering into our into the next Parliament that will be called?
All right, thank you very much. I think that this political stalemate is It's not the best, but at this time it has happened, and what has happened has happened. We must also be real. We must be real that, yes, at this time, members of parliament do not have time. Seriously, they have to campaign. They have to return to the house to even be called members of parliament in the first place. So at this time, any rational thinking being would think of their own personal interest first. It's very, very, very crucial that we make that point. But the point we are making is that, yes, it's very difficult for you at this time to do all that you have to do, at the same time serve the national interest. But what do we do? What do we do in this particular circumstance? We are saying that we need to realize that we are not in normal times. We are not in normal times. And therefore, I expect both the Speaker, the leadership of the two caucuses to sit down, at least to agree that this particular vote of account is something that we all need. We should sit down, not throwing sabres at each other, but sit down and agree. If you will even have one day to sit and know that, yes, we have some campaigning that we have to do in our constituencies, and therefore we are putting down this particular day, one day, and recall everybody. That is not the day that we are coming to do our political grandstanding in parliament to prove our point or not, but we are compromising to come to parliament to come and do the needful for the nation. I think that will help. Before we resume sitting, we would have agreed on what to do. We would have agreed on the businesses to transact. When we come, we are not going to do very long political talk and all those things to inflame passions. We are coming to do a particular work. It is not that we agree with you or we don't agree with you. We are coming to do a particular work for the nation, and then they agree and come and do that particular work and go back to their businesses. It doesn't look like we're going to have a long time in parliament to look at all these things. Realistically, when these members of parliament are in parliament, they have their opponent. Hello?
Yes, sir. We are listening to you.
Okay, I thought you were drawing my attention. So realistically, while these members of parliament are in parliament doing their work, their opponents in their constituencies who do not have any work to do in parliament are campaigning vigorously against them, trying to take their seats from them. So it will be difficult to get all of them their attention in parliament when we will come and be litigating political issues. So we should have a clear understanding of what we are compromising about, what we are coming to parliament to come and do. It should be crisp. Then you can draw the other side to agree with you. Come to parliament, come and do that, and you go back and go and do your work. Do the national work for us, and then go back and go and look at your personal interests as well.
Thank you, Clement. We are grateful for your time this morning. And thank you, Michael Boedi. We are also grateful for your time.
Thank you, and good morning to all your listeners and viewers.
Good morning. Clement Akola is the Communications Officer for Parliamentary Network Africa, and Michael Boedi, the governance expert at the Ghana Integrity Initiative. When more arise from these conversations, we'll have more with our guests so that we can break down the conversations more and more. 18 days to the elections. Let's see how things go. Let's move into our next conversation for ABC in the morning today. The Electoral Commission is reprinting ballots for Volta and Ahafo regions. And they're reprinting all of the ballots due to incorrect serial numbers. The EC's Deputy Chairman of Operations, Samuel Tete, announced this during an emergency IPAC meeting on Friday, November 15. And according to him, while the printing of ballot papers has generally proceeded smoothly, concerns have been raised in recent weeks regarding the serialization of ballots for the Ahafo and Volta regions. Meanwhile, the Commission has commenced the destruction of electoral materials for the Ahafo and Volta regions following discrepancies in their serialization of ballot papers. In a press release dated November 17, 2024, the Electoral Commission confirmed that on Saturday, November 16, excess and scrap ballot papers along with printing plates used for producing presidential and parliamentary ballots for the two regions were incinerated. The process was supervised by representatives from political parties, the National Intelligence Bureau, National Security, and the Ghana Police Service and the Electoral Commission itself. Let's take a look at the press release that was dated November 17. Destruction of electoral materials for Ahafo and Volta regions. Yesterday, Saturday, 16th November 2024, a quantity of electoral materials for the Ahafo and Volta regions were burnt. The destroyed materials were made up of excess or scrap ballot papers and plates used for the printing of the presidential and parliamentary ballots for the Ahafo and Volta regions. The destruction done through the burning was witnessed by the agents of the political parties, the National Intelligence Bureau, National Security, Ghana Police Service, and the Electoral Commission. The Commission will today, Sunday, the 17th of November 2024, account for all the ballot papers printed for both regions, which will be burned subsequently due to challenges with the serial numbers. The Commission will inform the political parties and other stakeholders in due course to enable them to observe the destruction of these ballot papers. Attached is the destruction certificate for the excess ballots and printing plates that were destroyed through burning yesterday afternoon. Thank you. Signed, Samuel Tete, Deputy Chairman Operations, and it is attached the certificate of disposal, which shows that these were burnt. So the EC says that they will do well. They will do well to make sure that everything is in place. They will do well to make sure that everything is in place. We'll have conversations about this, find out how far they have come. 18 days to the elections. 18 days to the elections. EC has had to reprint some ballots for the Volta and Ahafo regions. The EC has reprinted ballots for Volta and Ahafo regions. The issue was that there were some discrepancies in the serialization of ballot papers. And you know, serial numbers are most important to ballot papers as we head into the elections, so that you are not voting on a paper that does not have the right serial number. They also, it was announced that IPAC that the ballot papers, the printing would proceed smoothly. Generally, the printing of ballot papers will proceed smoothly, and that was Samuel Tete when he mentioned that at Friday's IPAC with the various political parties. So the only issues that have been faced so far have been the ballot papers from the Volta and Ahafo regions that, due to some discrepancies, have had to be burnt. Not just the ballot papers, but also some ballot plates. Let's speak with Roxin Konde. He is Director of Operations at Senco, and let's have conversations about this with him. Good morning, Roxin. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, madam.
and good morning to your listeners.
In general, what does Senko make of the elections that we are getting into come December 7?
Okay, thank you very much. Before I proceed, I must thank ABC News. In fact, the first time I saw somebody watching the news, I've not been watching. I saw it as a foreign network because of the professionalism and the quality of your viewers, your picture and your programming. So thank you and keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
At Senko, we see election as a defining moment for Ghanaians to make their input into the democratic credentials and development of the country going forward. And we see elections as something that will reconcile Ghanaians and not divide Ghanaians. And we see elections as a basis for Ghanaians to register whether they want somebody to still keep running the country or they want to change. So election should be something with dialogue, like more like a reconciliation. And that is what we always preach, so that if you're able to convince Ghanaians to vote for you, then it means that they understood your message, they appreciate your message, and they want you to take the country for the next 4 years. So we see elections to be something that, if all things being equal, there should be harmony in the country and not any other thing aside harmony in the country's development.
With the reprinting of ballots for these two regions, 18 days to the elections, how does this speak of our elections conduct so far?
It's a cause for concern, and it is very worrying. In the sense that, you see, electoral commission, and when I say electoral commission, anybody speaking for them, we are seeing them as electoral commission. They are saying that they identify the errors and they are trying to correct it. And this is not just a constituency. This is not just a polling station. 2 full regions. And you can have the serial numbers wrongly serialized. Now, let's assume that on the election day, we finish election and this kind of mistake is committed. We will not have opportunity to correct it. And this may lead to serious consequences for our democracy. Now, in going forward, this is not the first time EC will always come to defend themselves, because we have seen it and corrected it. In the first place, who made the mistake? You made a mistake and you are correcting it, and you want us to pat you in your Bible, you have done well. You can't do that. And you see, this thing started from 2020 elections. If not that God is on our side, and the professionalism of media houses in Ghana, and the peaceful nature of Ghanaians, to have electoral commission declare election result presidential more than 3 times, and the country is still peaceful, is something Ghanaians must thank God, and then pat ourselves that, look, indeed Ghanaians are peace-loving people. And we were expecting electoral commission, okay, to learn from what happened in 2020. But it looked like any time EC is changing that data or figures or any other thing, the mistakes are what? Profound in their activities. I don't think anybody is rushing them to do this work. They have a timetable they are working with. And I will plead from the Senko side of issue that they should take their time. We are all trying to help them to do good work for the mother Ghana. But you see, when you create this kind of mistakes, it leads to people suspecting that you are trying to do something untoward, which may not be true. So as a civil society organization, we are always there to support EC. We are always there to help them do their work well. But where they got it wrong, there should be generous enough to tell Ghanaians that, yes, we made a mistake and we corrected it and apologize and we move on. But if you want to say, oh, we saw it and we corrected it, it is nothing. No, it is something, especially when it is coming from the stronghold of the opposition party. Then the opposition party will now get some oxygen into their funds that no, EC is trying to cheat us, which may be a genuine mistake. But if you admit that it's a genuine mistake, you wouldn't have problem. But where you want to justify that it's nothing, after all, we detected it. No, I don't think it is right.
Roxanne, we are joined by Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, who is the Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC. Dr. Tanko, thank you for your time again.
Faced by the commission.
Let me say good morning to you.
Has been with the serialization.
Okay, Dr. Tanko. So let me come to you before I even continue the conversation with Roxanne. Dr. Tanko, EC reprinting ballots for Volta and Ahafo regions. We know that the Volta region is your stronghold. How do you receive this message?
Very well. In fact, we reported this issue about 3 weeks ago. And if you care to know, go back to the timeline of my boss, Dr. Omani Boama, and check his writing on the printing of ballot papers by Fonstat. We raised it in one of the IPAC meetings and told them that the serial numbers being generated by Fonstat was faulty, it was not correct. The picture quality of their ballots were not correct. We raised the issue. The Electoral Commission said they will find out and that they will send their technical team to go and check and see how they can salvage the situation. They started, but it couldn't. It continued. We raised it again and wrote copiously about it until last minute when they started bargaining. And we said, no, we won't accept it. And so for Electoral Commission to sit down there and say they saw it themselves, they have a penchant of denying anything that is brought to their fore. They will deny, and then when you push them further, then they will now come and agree and say it was this and that. They actually didn't see it. It was our agent at the Fonstat who raised the issues. We went there, checked it, and realized that, yeah, it was not correct. And that affected Ahafo and Volta region. And so when they called us the last IPAC meeting to announce that they wanted to take the contract from Fonstat and reprint Volta and Ahafo, we said, well, that is well intentioned. Already that has been an issue we've been raising all along because we knew that the ballots were not fit for purpose. It couldn't have been used for any voting. If they are deployed to the field, we would have gotten a lot of rejected ballots in the field because the serial numbers were just bad.
Dr. Tanko, is the NDC satisfied with how the printing of ballot has been so far?
Not Fonstat. The rest of the other printing houses, yes, we are okay with that. Our agents were there. The feedback we had was positive. But Fonstat, it was very bad. It was terribly bad. So I'm not surprised the EC has to take it away from them.
What could account for their for the laxity, for lack of a better word, in the work they are doing? If all of the other media houses are doing a job that is on par, how come theirs is subpar?
Sorry. Well, I'm sure it's capacity. I mean, if they don't have that capacity to do the job as of now, or their equipment are faulty, it will lead to this. I mean, so the issue has to do with capacity. You remember the issue about Yasako too? They also had challenge.
Hello, Dr. Tanko. Okay, we'll try and establish contact with Dr. Tanko so that we can
them to continue.
Okay, Dr. Tanko, you are back. We missed you at a point.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Tanko.
Yes.
We missed you at a point.
Yes,
so please go on.
You remember the issue about the Yasako printing house, which was also a contract was taken away from them because of lack of capacity to handle the printing. And so we have been monitoring closely the printing process. You know, this year we are using eagle eyes. And so anything that we see untoward, we'll bring it to the general public and the EC. If we inform them and they are adamant, we'll let the public know. I mean, that is the only way they can respond to issues like this. I mean, so clearly, if they have taken it and then measures to start printing afresh, Volta and Ahafo, well-intentioned, we are good to go with it.
Do you see this reprinting as a breeding ground for discontent and lack of confidence in the EC?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, if there are challenges with the ballot paper, the best option is for you to reprint. And as simple as that. So I don't think it's contended. I mean, we are all within time. We are within time. Today, 19 days. Yes, we are within time. I mean, if you look at the printing houses, they've given it to Bulk Prints and Art Commission. These are huge printing organizations. They have the equipment, the capacity is there. I don't think it will even take them more than 72 hours to finish printing. Volta Region 18 constituency, I have for 6, so virtually 24 constituencies. They should be able to finish within 72 hours. Okay. So it shouldn't be a challenge at all.
Let me go back to Roxanne of Senko. Roxanne, I'll ask you the same question I asked Dr. Tanko. Do you think that this reprinting will be a breeding grounds for lack of confidence in the EC?
Yes, I think my senior, let me greet my senior, Alaji Tanko Ibrahim Doc. Good morning.
Senior brother, it's rather Dr. Tanko Rashid.
Yes,
I'm not
Doctor. Yeah, Doc. So I pray that you become Alaji soon. Doc, thank you. Thank you for the correction. I think that, like he rightly put it, I don't think this will bring any mistrust or any issue about electoral commission's confidence or lack of confidence thereon. The only thing I think that the electoral commission has admitted that there's a mistake, and they are willing to correct that mistake. And I think that I want to thank the people who attend IPAC, that they are doing a good job there, especially the team from the NDC side, even though they are working with their colleagues from MPP, other political parties. They are helping to build a very solid institution at EC. And I think that I will encourage EC to collaborate with them. When they raise these issues, it is not for bad mass or malice. They are raising these issues to make electoral commission a better institution we are all looking for. So EC having admitted that, yeah, there was a mistake, and all the stakeholders agree that, look, let's reprint the ballot for these 2 regions. I think is the way to go. And like Dr. Tanko said, these will not be the basis to say EC is not competent or is not capable of delivering on their work. What we at Senko will call for is that there should be collaboration, there should be dialogue. Like I remember NDC read the issue of the auditing of the register. When EC opened themselves up for IPAC, they were able to get to the table, get people on the table, and we had the middle ground, and we are moving on as a country. And this is what we are all praying for. When you are transparent, when you are free, when you are fair, I don't think there will be any issue about EC. Nobody is here to undermine EC. We are all trying to help EC build a strong institution so that we all have a peaceful country. So much is dependent on EC to allow themselves to be criticized, to allow themselves to for people to point to them. These are your mistakes, and you accept it and correct it, and we move on.
Exercise and there are mistakes pointed out to them. Thank you, Roxanne. Let me come back to you, Dr. Tanko. You have mentioned in the past that the NDC will be extra vigilant, but some say that it was the EC. The EC said they found this out. The NDCs also say that they rather found it out and raised it for the EC to pay attention to it. For those who think that it was all the EC's work in finding out these, they may think that then your call for vigilance is not really working as you said. So how are you going to beef up your work so that the Ghanaian will see that indeed you are being more vigilant than you have been?
Is it the first time they have denied anything? This is not the first time. Do you have time for me to count their denial severally? And later on they came back and accepted everything again. When they were faking up figures after registration exercise, we started the limited registration exercise. Didn't they deny that their figures were correct? But later on they came and apologized and said, yes, actually they were using Coral Draw. That messed them up. The same EC, when we raised the issue of people illegal transfers, several illegal transfers across the country, they initially denied it and said their register was robust and all that. But later on, what happened? They came back and apologized and said they interdicted their officer and finally even dismissed the officer for involving themselves in these illegal transfers and all that. So this EC, anytime they deny something, they just dismiss them with the contempt they deserve. What are they talking about?
Okay. Dr. Tanko,
there are several, I can give you several of them, that anytime we raise issue, they first will deny, but later on, when we push them, they come back and accept it. When we said they've added old transfers of 243,000 into the current transfers, they initially denied it, but later on they came and said yes, it was a mistake, it was an error, and that they work out to take it out from the register.
Okay.
So anytime EC is denying something, do you agree to them? This is not the EC you should have that kind of respect for in terms of denial. I can assure you that we will continue to monitor closely. We will protect the interests of Ghanaian voters and make sure that the right thing is done. Okay. Our vigilance will continue to be on them until John Dramani Mahama is elected president. We are not going to stop. Okay. We'll continue to follow them through so that everything is done properly.
What does it mean on this issue of serial numbers? What does it really mean to the elections that it has to make EC? What does it mean to the elections that it has to make the EC reprint? I know that you mentioned that we may have had so many rejected ballots, but beyond rejected ballots, what does it mean to our elections on the whole that ballots will be reprinted in the course of printing?
Well, of course, if the serial numbers are not correct, then the integrity of the election will be compromised. That is simple and short. They themselves know it. The EC, they know it. And that's why they indicated in their press that to protect the integrity of the ballot. Because every ballot paper must have a serial number. And the serial numbers are unique to polling stations. Okay, so if you have a serial number which is not within the polling station jurisdiction, that ballot paper will be a rejected ballot. Okay, or it can be described as a foreign material. And so when crooked people go and prepare their own ballot papers and want to surreptitiously put it into the ballot box or go and stuff ballot boxes and bring it, it is a serial number that we use to get them. Because you see that the serial number is not correct. It's not within that jurisdiction. Okay. And so serial numbers are very critical to the ballot integrity. So if serial numbers, you have issues with it, that one, they forget it. You will not have a good election. The election that you are going to conduct is not going to be free, fair. It's just going to be skewed in the interest of somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so these are the things that we are all protecting. And so that's why I didn't see any resistance from our opponent. They know what we were talking about.
At the regions that have received the ballots, is the NDC satisfied with what has been printed so far, or is the NDC satisfied with the EC's work so far?
In terms of what? In terms of the ballot?
In terms of the regions whose ballots have been printed fully and have received the ballots.
I mean, we followed it. I mean, we send our team, we have our monitoring team that follow the vehicles to the regions. And we are following every bit too. And their vehicle move, we also move. Now, when they reach at the police regional headquarters, we're there with them. We all slept in the night with the vehicles. The following morning, they were put into their armor. We'll check everything. Serial number, seals of a box.
Dr. Sanko's video seems to be back.
We didn't have any difficulty whatsoever.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking forward to the progress of these printings and how far it is going. But Dr. Sanko, let me ask you how far your campaign is. Just before we entered into the weekend, the NDC released a new song which seems to have captured the minds of people. People are dancing to it, singing to it. Very interesting song. So far, how is the campaign going? Is it good for you?
No, it's good for us. We are winning. In fact, we are winning the election. Hands down, first round. We are winning the election massive. I'm telling you, we are winning to the tune of almost 54%. That is what we are working towards. We are working for it. We are not taking the situation on the ground that because there's hardship in the country, people automatically vote for NDC. No. We are working. As of yesterday, His Excellency John Dramani was in Northern Region to close up the areas he could not visit. So he has touched base all the constituencies in the 5 northern regions. He's touched base on every nook and corner of the country, up north there. It's coming down. We are crisscrossing the country. The running mate is all over the place. Both of them are crisscrossing. Our national chairman, General Mosquito, is leading another team. He's all over the place. So we are working towards the victory. We are not sitting down. And I can assure you, it's going to be a massive victory for the NDC. Massive. And that's why we are always following the EC. because we don't want to beat these people with some margin that they can still make noise. We want to beat them with very wide margin. Okay. And so what happened in 2020, we don't want it to happen this year. That is why we are following the EC. They know it. They know what happened. We have been telling them about it. You, the media, have been quiet about it. You don't want to bring it up. When they will refuse to bring statistics of the
Dr.
register.
Tanko, this is what we've been giving you, at least on ABC News GH. We've given you all of the time to speak with us concerning issues about the EC and also about the election process. Don't you think it's unfair if you say that the media is not talking about it?
Look, I am not saying it's unfair, but I'm saying that things that you are supposed to do, you want Dr. Tanko to do it for you. I'm asking you, when I raised the issue at IPAC about the summaries not being part of the register and statistics, I thought the media should have asked that question, not me. The media should be asking them, because you are reporting. Until this thing came up, did you know the number of people who are going to vote in Ghana? Your media, how did you know? Did you know the number of special voters?
Hello, Dr. Tanko. Okay, we'll establish.
Did you know the this is? Hello.
Yes, Dr. Tanko. Well, let me ask you another question on this.
Saying that
with the issue of reprinting, has the EC indicated who will be bearing or who will be bearing the cost of the reprinting?
That one there, that's the administrative work. We leave that one to them. It's not part of us.
Okay. I'll come back to you. Let me speak with Roxanne. Hello, Roxanne, are you there?
Yeah, madam.
When you look at the whole process ahead of the elections, what would you say if you had an adjective to describe our election process at the moment? Which adjective will you attach to it?
Well, I would describe the process so far as being relatively fair. Fair in the sense that for the support of IPAC, and when I say this, I don't say this with any inclination. And the let me borrow the word from the NDC people, that their eagle eye, the pressure they have been mounting on EC has made the whole process relatively fair. And I think that EC is also living up to its expectation by responding to some of the issues. So I think EC is doing well, but I will only my advice to EC now is that, look, it shouldn't be who identified the mistake, who didn't identify the mistake. If it is NDC, and so what is necessary and important to Ghanaians is that the mistakes are identified, they are corrected. Why will EC want to take credit that they identified the mistake? You caused the mistake, then you want credit that you identified. No, let's move beyond that and move on and work as a country to build a country we are all looking for. And before you ask your next question, you ask a very serious question on what is the effect of wrong serial numbers to the election. Look, if you don't have the serial numbers correctly spelled out, it will create room for ballot stuffing. So people can just bring any foreign material and stuff ballot and bring it because you can identify which ballot paper belong to which polling station or which region. And it's a serious issue. Two, it also creates the room for a lot of rejected ballot, because if the serial numbers are not correct and the polling agents are critical and they know the serial number that is assigned to what their polling station, and they find after voting they are sorting and they find a ballot paper which serial number does not tally with their polling station, they can call for that ballot to be rejected. And if you care to know, in 2020 the rejected ballot was over 300,000 votes, and the election was won by the figure we to roughly 500,000. So rejected ballot can actually affect the outcome of elections. So it is very critical, and I'm happy that EC has agreed to do the needful, and the parties have agreed to support EC to do it. So far, so good.
So far, so good. Thank you, Roxanne. We're grateful for your time with us this morning on ABC in the morning.
And then let me thank ABC for giving me this big platform to also express my view on election. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a good day.
You too. Have a good day. Dr. Tanko.
Yes.
We'll most definitely be coming back for more conversation, especially barely 20 days to the elections, and you're gearing up. You have said that until your candidate has been declared as president, your eagle eye will not be closed. We'll come back to you for more conversation.
Very well. I'm grateful.
Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is the Deputy Director for Elections and IT for the NDC. We tried getting in touch with Dr. Sribo Kweku, the Director for Training at the Electoral Commission, who had agreed to speak with us. Unfortunately, when it was time, we were unable to establish contact with him. When we are able to have conversations with him from the EC's point of view, but at the moment, the EC is reprinting ballots for the voter and Ahafo regions. That's all for our conversation today on ABC in the morning. Stay with us. We will be back. In the morning on ABC News GH. This is the place for your credible information on the elections. That's why we have brought you the Poll Center, Votes Not Violence. We have a few days to the elections, and we want to keep reminding you that it is for your own good, it is for our own good that we maintain some decorum in the elections, we maintain the peace that we are enjoying as a country. So please and please again, we plead with you not to allow yourself to be used as a tool for violence. If anything, propagate peace, be an agent for peace during these elections. Don't allow anybody to use you as a conduit for any form of violence. We are entering into another segment, Politics Today, and we will be focusing on a constituency today. My colleague Samuel Nyimagbo will be giving us some insights into that constituency. Politics Today is up next.
This is where the headlines are probed. Policies scrutinized through an objective lens with an unbiased approach to every discussion. Key in to a series of pulsating conversations with the hard questions.
Why do you still want to run when you have failed?
I haven't.
What do you mean by failed?
In-depth analysis of policy proposals.
If it is a temporary program, why do we want to still create another gold reserve exchange program also to address a temporary issue?
If you introduce a temporary measure
and you realize that the temporary measure works and is sustainable, you have to rethink whether or not it should just be temporary.
And every agenda and positions intellectually debated to set the record straight.
Look, you still don't answer the question now.
Go on.
Question is, if Article 78(1) is anything to go by, your ministers of state largely are supposed to come from the parliament.
Yes.
The law says that not less than 10 and not more than 19. So these are your cabinet, your ministers of state you're going to get. How do you intend to? Have you thought about managing that header?
Absolutely. If I hadn't, I probably would not get on the fray to do this.
On Focus on ABC, we focus on the matter, the personality, and the answer beyond the rhetoric. Focus on ABC shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. only on ABC News Ghana television.
budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kanisu
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to one.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kanishie.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news.
This is where the headlines are probed. Policies scrutinized through an objective lens with an unbiased approach to every discussion. Key in to a series of pulsating conversations with the hard questions.
Why do you still want to run when you have failed?
I haven't. What do you mean by failed?
In-depth analysis of policy proposals.
If it is a temporary program, why do we want to still create another gold reserve exchange program also to address a temporary issue?
If you introduce a temporary measure and you realize that the temporary measure works and is sustainable, you have to rethink whether or not it should just be temporary.
And every agenda and positions intellectually debated to set the record straight.
Look, you still don't answer the question now.
Go on.
Question is, if Article 78(1) is anything to go by, your ministers of state largely are supposed to come from the parliament.
Yes.
The law says that not less than 10 and not more than 19. So these are your cabinet, your ministers of state you're going to get. How do you intend to resolve? Have you thought about managing that header?
Absolutely. If I hadn't, I probably would not get on the fray to do this.
On Focus on ABC, we focus on the matter, the personality, and the answer beyond the rhetoric. Focus on ABC shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. only on ABC News Ghana television.
Morning here on Politics Today. I am your guest today to take you through the special analysis of the Dade Kotopong constituency ahead of the 2024 elections. From now to December 7th, we have 18 days left to the general election come December 7th, and we'll be bringing you the analysis bit by bit on each constituency across the country. And today we are placing special focus on the Dade Kotopong constituency in the Greater Accra region here in Accra. This constituency is very key, very important for the candidates, especially the Dade Kotopong has long been a dynamic battleground between the NDC and the NPP, considered as Accra's second most affluent constituency, the coastal community has been largely dominated by the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, since the beginning of the Fourth Republic. The NDC have won most of the elections in this constituency. Apart from the 2000 elections and the 2016 election, the constituency always favor the NDC in both the parliamentary and the presidential elections, like the Lojokuku and the Krowo constituencies. The Ladade Kotopong constituency has retained only one member of parliament beyond one term since 1992. The NDC, Lemolni Amo Kote, was elected the first NP for this constituency under the Fourth Republic, and was replaced by Sylvester Adinam Mensah from the same party in 1996. The NDC, however, lost the Ladade Kotopong seat to the NPP Godfred Akonai in 2000. That is the first time the NPP won in this constituency, the parliamentary elections. They lost it to the NDC lost the seat. However, in 2004, the elections as the seats swung in favor of Niama Namole, who retained it for another 2 terms, becoming the only NP to have won the seat beyond one term. Now, let's look at the dynamics for the parliamentary and the presidential elections. Like I mentioned, the NPP has won only twice in this constituency, once in 2000 and the last one in 2016. If you look at the pattern of vote, as you see there with the line graphs, the NDC is in the green color, NPP in the original blue color. From 1996 up onto 2020, the last election, you will see that the NPP has only won twice. In 2000, where they had about 53.4% of the vote, and in 2016, where they have about 50% of the vote as well. Beyond that, they have never won in the parliamentary elections in this constituency. For the presidential as well, since 1996, NPP has won twice in this, has won once, I beg your pardon, in this constituency. So even in 2016, where the NPP won the parliamentary elections for in the Ladade Kotopong constituency, they couldn't win the presidential election. So there was a skirt and blouse voting there in 2016. So in 2016, the NDC had 53.6% of the vote, whilst the NPP garnered some 46.5% of the vote. Beyond that, you realize that the pattern from 1996, 2000, where the NPP won the only presidential election with 50.3%, up until 2020, the NDC or the NPP has not won in this constituency. And let's look at the time the NPP won the elections, the general elections. NPP won the general elections in Ghana in 2000, 2004 as well. They won it, came back in 2016 and 2020. And in each of these 4 elections in the Ladade Kotopong constituency, the NPP has managed to gather at least 44% of the vote in the Ladade Kotopong constituency. At least in every time the NPP won the elections in this constituency, they've garnered at least 44% of the vote. So it means that if the NPP will win the general elections in this 2024 election, they should have at least 44% of the vote in this constituency. Anything beyond that could mean a loss for the ruling NPP. Now you look at the time the NDC has also won the elections in this constituency, presidential elections. They've won it in 1956, lost it in 2000, came back in 2004, won it 2008, 2012, 2016, and even in 2020 elections. But let's look at the time the party won the general elections as well. We know that the NDC won the 1996 general elections, the presidential elections, and they won the 2008 elections as well, won the 2012 elections as well. So in these 3 terms within the Dade Kotopon constituency of the Greater Accra, for the NDC to win the general elections, the party should have at least 56% in this constituency. So realize at the time they didn't have 56%, at least 56% in this constituency, they went ahead to lose the general elections. And that is what it means for the party, because this is their stronghold. It is not just about winning, but it's also about winning with a bigger margin. If the NDC is not able to win with a bigger margin, then they can't, in this constituency, it might not translate into a win for them in the general elections. Now let's give you a breakdown of the contest from 2012 to 2020 elections, especially the parliamentary elections in this constituency. Now in 2012, Ni Amasa Namole won the parliamentary elections with some 56.91%, amassing some 50,016 votes, as against Oscar Ni Odoi Glover, who had 34,533 votes. Now, Ni Amasa Namole was under the ticket of the NDC, so he won the elections for the NDC in 2012 for the NDC, amassing some. So look at the votes as well. He amassed 50,000 plus votes in this constituency. Let's look at the 2016 elections as well and see the NPP won this election. Let's see the vote margin. Now, Niamasa Namole lost this election. Coming back from his win in 2012, he lost this election to Vincent Soa Odotei. Now, Vincent won this election with only 40,000 votes. Remember, in 2012, Amasa Namole won with 50,000 plus votes. In the 2016 election, the NPP candidate won with 40,000 votes, but it was enough for him because he had 50.58% of the vote, as against the incumbent NP then, who lost the election with some 48.54%. So the vote margin here was quite close, with some about just 2,000 margin of votes here. Now let's look at the 2020 election, because this is key. The parliamentary candidate in the 2016 election for the NDC, who won the elections, is still contesting in this election as well. So it is a very key it's a very key election for the NDC, because they must, if they want to win, they have to get a certain number of votes. Now in 2020 elections, Rita Na Odole Sowa, who is the incumbent NP for the area, garnered over 47,000 votes. Actually amassing 47,606 votes, some 53.14%, as against Joseph Gerald Tete, who had 41,000 plus votes, 41,101% votes, some 45.88%. So you look at the margins here as well. Rita Na Odole had 47% of the vote. 47,606 of the vote, as against 41,101% or 101 votes in the 2020 elections. Now, so one thing you have, if you have noticed, is that in this constituency, to be able to win the elections as a parliamentary candidate from 2012, you need at least over 40,000 votes to win the elections. It is that is the cap, or that is the bargain number that every candidate must be looking forward to. You need at least 40,000 to win the election. At least you should have 40,000 and hope that you get more. Now, the only person in 2012 had 50,000. Ni Amasa Namole had over 50,000%, over 50,000 of the vote in this constituency, and he had a very big win in that election. But beyond that, you see that the other candidates that have won the elections have won it with somewhere over 40,000. Now, in this election, in the 2024 elections, Rita Na Odole Sowa is still contesting for the NDC. However, the NPP have changed their candidate. Now they have a new candidate who is very vibrant. The candidate was before his election to become the candidate for the New Patriotic Party in this election, used to work as the driver for the president, or he used to work at the presidency, Jubilee House. Now he is contesting Ritana Odole-Sowa. Then again, the NPP candidate who lost the 2016 elections has come back to contest as an independent candidate. So you will have two persons who are from the NPP side. The current candidate for the NPP, Joseph Addo, as against the 2016 candidate for the NPP, rivaling for the NPP vote in this election. And experts will tell you that if you have two candidates from one side contesting against one candidate from one side, the one candidate or the candidate from just one side has a bigger opportunity to win, because the other two will have to split their vote. So it means that Joseph Addo and the 2016 candidate for the NPP would then have to split the vote. Vincent Sowa and Joseph Addo will struggle to split the NPP vote in this constituency. Remember that this is a constituency that is not even a stronghold for the NPP. But in this election, 2024, there are key issues that will influence voter decisions in this constituency. We have done our checks. We've spoken to the constituent, and we've gathered that these are the key things that will influence voter decisions in this constituency. Access to healthcare infrastructure, one key thing, because they have the La General Hospital project that was demolished somewhere in 2019. It's still yet to be completed, and that project is on the heart of the Dade Kotopon constituent, and they'll be voting based on this project as well. We have road development and a lot of unresolved and unconstructed roads within the constituency. Other things would be also sanitation issues in this constituency. Now, if you have used, if you are a member or if you are a constituent of this constituency, you attest that sanitation is one key issue in the constituency. Now, these are some factors that will determine the voter decisions, or likely to influence voter decision in the constituency. Now, the people in this constituency largely speak Ga. They are largely Ga people. They speak Ga. So it is a largely dominated Ga constituency. They speak Ga. You can, some of the key landmarks within the constituency, if you are watching us from outside of Accra, the trade fair is located in this constituency. The Ghana Trade Fair is located in this constituency. There's another problem with that project as well, and it is likely to influence voter decision, because the trade fair, which was demolished a year ago and promised to be completed within this year, has still yet to be completed. The trade fair project is still yet to be completed. So let me just go through some popular areas within the constituency. You have Chado, you have Lamami, you have other areas within the constituency. You have the Lapam Beach. The Lapam Beach Hotel is actually in this constituency as well, and the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Center is also in this constituency. The Lancaster Hotel, or formerly the Golden Tulip Hotel, is also in this constituency. You have the Defense Ministry, the Ministry of Defense, also located in this constituency. So this constituency is going to be a very important one, a very keenly contested. And on your screens are some videos or some visuals of the NPP candidate campaigning within the constituency, led by the flag bearer of the party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, like I mentioned, the NPP candidate is from Jubilee House, a man that has been ordained from the Jubilee House to lead this constituency. The question is, can he rival the NDC's Rita Na Odole Soa, who won the 2020 elections, and can Joseph Ado also compete with his contender who previously was from the NPP side? The 2016 NPP candidate who was from that side. Can they compete? Because these two will compete for the NPP vote. Can he outshine the 2016 candidate and win more vote, and by then also get some other vote from the NDC side? Let's look at what December 7 will hold for these two candidates in the elections. So Dade Kotopon constituency is a very keenly contested constituency. Now, we also want to look at the chances of the independent candidate. Like I mentioned, they have three key candidates: the NPP, Joseph Edo, the NDC, Rita Na Odole Soa, and then the independent candidate who used to be the MP for the area until 2016 when he lost and on the ticket of the NPP. What are his chances of winning the 2024 elections? Now, for him to win the 2024 elections, it means that he must take majority of the NPP votes. He must take majority of the NPP votes from this constituency, because the NPP also have their candidate there. He was an NPP member, and by defect he has defected from the NPP side. So he must take majority of the NPP vote and also get a larger or a proportion of the NDC vote in this constituency to stand any chance of winning the 2024 elections. That is the work he has to do. As it stands now, his visibility is yet to be felt in the constituency, unlike Rita Na Odole Soa and Joseph Edo, who are largely seen on campaign grounds campaigning. Visibility of this independent candidate, who was an NPP member, is yet to be felt within the constituency. We've engaged the constituent, and they've told us that they are some constituents are divided, especially the NPP constituents. Some are divided as to who to vote for. Some like him, the independent candidate. They like him much they like him much to want to vote for him. But then again, because they are NPP persons, they have an NPP candidate, so they are still divided. There's still a divided attention in this constituency, and that is the things that are at stake in these elections for the Dade Kotopon constituency. Now, let me bring your mind back to one thing that has also been a key issue within this constituency: the issue with the lands of this area, the last two lands. Now, the indigents have long had a problem with the government of the day, the NPP government, because they have accused the government of selling lands that are owned or that are originally owned by the last tool to party affiliates and members of the New Patriotic Party. They have held series of protests against this, what they call state capture of these lands. I mean, the NDC NP for North Tongue, Samuel Kujoto Ablakwa has led these protests, some of these protests against state capture lands around the trade fair area. Where the trade fair is, the constituent or the indigents have contested that the land is originally owned by them and that the government must compensate the owners of this land. So the land issues is another problem that might bite the government of the day in this constituency. This protest that you are seeing was held some few months ago, like 2-3 months ago, where the constituent went on the street and they were agitating over the nature of what they describe as state capture in this land. So let's just take some bite from that protest that was held a few months ago, and we'll come.
system to back up those lands and have discussions with the traditional authorities. Now, after 1 month from now, if government fails to heed our request, now we are going to occupy a land like the DVLA land, and we are going to be there until all projects are halted, and then the traditional authorities are called upon for some discussion.
After a long demonstration, a peaceful one at that, the coalition of La Youth Association have presented their petition to the presidency, tailoring a number of demands, including the president to call to order the defense minister and chief of defense staff of the Ghana Armed Forces for some lands they believe the two have led to their encroachment.
We wish to bring to your attention that upon all the recommendations made by the committee, as well as your instructions for the release of the said land, Honorable Dominic Nitiwo, the defense minister, and the Brigadier General Thomas Opompepra, the chief of defense staff, have resolved to ensure that the people of La do not have access to the said land. We are therefore, by this petition, pleading with you to call both the defense minister and the chief of defense staff to order and withdraw all their men from the portion of the land which the chiefs and people of La are the rightful owners. Should they continue to disobey your orders, Your Excellency, we plead that you relieve them of their posts to serve as a deterrent to other office holders who may try to disobey orders from your good office.
The Deputy Chief of Staff at the Presidency in charge of operations who received the petition assured the coalition that he will pass on their demands to the President.
I would implore you that you bear with us as we channel this thing through the process and see what can be done about the places you've mentioned. Trade Fair, and you mentioned 1967 and the entire expanse of land from there to what is now the Beach Hotel. I think that there will be some level of cooperation, and in due course you would hear from the presidency. I'll take this straight to him, and what needs to be done, I am sure, will be addressed.
The coalition of La Youth Association have indicated that if their demands are not met in due time, they will embark on a series of demonstrations to press home their demands. Reporting for ABC News Ghana, Samuel Nyumabo. Right, so these were some of the issues that were tabled by the protesters of the La Dado Kotopon constituency against state capture of some two lands. Now, this protest happened a few months ago, I think 2 months ago. Now, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, under which these accusations went directly, came to hold a press conference where they debunked some of these issues. The ministry says that they haven't sold any lands to the MPP affiliated persons as claimed by the protesters then. Then the ministry went ahead to say that even if there was any state capture, it didn't happen under their tenure. However, it happened under the tenure of the NDC. So these were the issues tabled before during that press conference that I covered a few months ago. So you see that these things would be the key factors leading the voting decision in this constituency. Now, like I mentioned earlier, in the 2024 elections, there are 3 contenders in this election: Rita Na Odole Soa of the NDC, contesting against Joseph Ado of the NPP, and an independent candidate in the person of Vincent Soa, who used to be a member of the NPP. He used to be an NPP MP until 2016, where he lost the elections. Now he is coming back to fight for his seat. What will that mean for the NPP in the constituency? And what will it also mean for the NDC? Because he has a link in terms of family ties with the current NP for the constituency, which is the NDC NP. So if you are looking at the family side as well, he might get some vote from the NDC. perhaps get some vote from the NPP and win the election. So you realize that the independent candidate in this election is going to be a key determiner in these elections. He can determine where the vote will go, or where the winner will come from. He can determine whether the NPP will win the elections. If the NPP will win the election, it means that he will get a lot of the vote from the NDC side using his family ties. Now, if the NDC will win the elections, it means that he will get a lot of the vote from the NPP using his affiliation or his former affiliation with the New Patriotic Party. So these are some of the concerns for, or these are some of the issues in the Dade Kotopon constituency, and we'll be keeping our eyes on this constituency up to December 7th. If there's any change in the in the voter decisions, or if there is any big update that you need to know, we will surely bring it to your attention here on ABC News Ghana. So this is key. Dade Kotopon, one of the constituencies under the NPP, under the Greater Accra region, would be very key for the NDC and the NPP as well, because if the NPP has to win the elections, like I mentioned earlier from the analysis that you saw, they have to win it by some, at least they have to get 44% of the presidential vote in this constituency. They have to get at least 44% of the presidential vote in these elections, or in this constituency, to be able to win the general elections. Now, if the NDC wants to win the election in this constituency, they should have at least, or not just in this constituency alone, in the general elections, they should have at least 56% of the vote in this constituency. That is what is at stake for both parties. For the parliamentary elections, the general rule is that you have to get at least 40,000 votes in this constituency. But with these three key candidates, the first person to cross the 40,000 plus percentage will likely win the elections in the Dade Kotopon constituency of the Greater Accra region. This has been Politics Today on ABC in the morning, and I am Samuel Nyemabo. Before I take leave of you, I want to remind you that this is Poll Center, ABC Poll Center, where we say vote not violence. We are championing for peace in these elections. It is all about your thumb and nothing else. So go out in your numbers, vote. If you are a special voter, on December 7th, go out and vote peacefully. If you are a main voter, you fall under the category of the main voters, go out in your numbers and vote on December 7th. Vote not violence. I am Samuel Nyemabo. Do have
5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote.
My colleague Samuel Nyimagbe bringing us all that we need to know about the Lada Dekotutpon constituency. At the moment, it is going to be between Honorable Rita Odole Soa and the one standing for the NPP, Joseph Ado. We'll see whether the NPP would be able to take the seat, which is traditionally for the NDC in Ladekotutpon. We'll see how far it goes. But know that we'll bring you more and more about the various constituencies here on ABC in the morning. That is why we tell you that this is the poll center. We'll give you all of the details, and then you too can make your very informed decision. Happy Hour is up next. Have any birthday wish, if you have any well wishes, if you have any shout outs for that friend, that special person, that loved one, get in touch with us via our socials at ABC News GH. Get into our DMs, send us that wish, and we will help you wish that friend and loved one that wish that you have for them. There's no better way to celebrate someone than to have some good words for them to see that indeed you cherish how much they mean to you. We have a wish, and let's help someone send it to their very loved one. So this is to Edna Sewa, editor, graphic communicator, and from Ejayam Ponsa says, happy birthday to an incredible colleague. Your dedication, hard work, and positive spirit make a world of difference every day. Wishing you a year filled with success, laughter, and well-deserved relaxation. Thank you for always being your best. You truly inspire those around you. Enjoy your special day. So this is going to Edna Sewa from Ejayam Ponsa. And that's a happy birthday to you, Edna. So if you also want to send a birthday wish or any kind of wish, get in touch with us on our socials and we'll gladly do that for you. Our website is www.abcnewsgh.com. For all of your news, visit us there. And our YouTube channel is ABC News GH. When we are live, we will go live there, and you too can enjoy from anywhere you are. Thank you for joining us. I am Abna Mante.
Only Bawumia can be trusted to protect and improve the free senior high school program. I want to take you on a trip down memory lane. In 2008, candidate Akufo-Addo promised that he was going to introduce education reforms, including the free senior high school program, if he was elected as president. From that election till about 2016, the NDC has consistently opposed the free senior high school.
The government has budgeted 2 billion cedis for free SHS for this academic year. If you have 2 billion more to spend on education, will you spend all of it on free SHS?
That Ghana must not introduce free SHS on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician.
Sometimes they say it's just politics. But the big picture is that consistently they've been against it. In fact, in election 2012 and 2016, they sponsored several adverts trying to convince the people of Ghana, say free SHS no, any year.
Ideas, powered by Hyundai Motor.
Abdoulaye Konaté is one of the world's great artists from Mali. West Africa. He works with textiles, a rich tradition